Well, everybody, it is your boy Jsnip4 and his brethren, Pastor Dowell. It's been a long time since we've done a video together, and with all the stuff that's been going on, me and him, and we talk on the phone at least once or twice a week, emailing and stuff too. But we just keep talking. It's funny because we'll be telling each other, "Yeah, we need to do a video. We need to do that Skype video, man, and talk about all the stuff that's going on." And we started talking, and it's like, man, we should have just been recording what we were just having a conversation about, because it's there's always something. It's always good stuff. But we finally got together today, and we both got about a half hour worth of time, so we're just going to hash out some stuff and talk about what the hell has been going on in the world and in our damn country in recent times. And on that note, so if y'all don't know Pastor Dowell, this is him. He lives in Tennessee. I'm fixing to move to Tennessee, as I've mentioned. Be a few hours away from him, but at least it's a lot closer than like 13 or 14 hours away where I'm at now. So what shall we talk about today, Pastor Dowell?
Well, it's definitely not a shortage of news that's going on nowadays, especially given our societal decline. I mean, I'm utterly amazed. I'm utterly amazed how history has this uncanny ability to be able to repeat itself. It continually keeps doing it over and over and over again. Now, I want to make a couple of points here. Our society is showing how sick that we are, and we are really sick. We're not only economically sick, but we're mentally sick. We're mentally sick, and I think it's because of the spiritual bankruptcy and the moral decay that's going on with us right now. When you look and see all these problems that's going on in society today that we're having here in America, it's only because we're declining as a country. We are following in the same footsteps as ancient Rome. And if you don't know history, as the old statement goes, you're going to repeat the same mistakes of the past. Now, there's one thing to know that statement, but it's another thing to know that statement and to be informed to know exactly what's going on. Because if you don't know history, you don't know how to prepare. You don't know what's coming around the corner, and you do not know exactly what to do. And that's the reason why we're here, is to continually keep trying to keep the American populace informed on what to do. Now, of course, we have the school shootings going on with all those kindergartens and those children, 28 children, including some school teachers, just lost their lives. And they didn't have to if they would follow what I call sensible, common sense.
Now, are you referring to the simple fact that your Constitution that was written over 200 years ago gave you a right to bear arms to protect yourself against anybody that will do harm to you? So, in other words, if you were a teacher, principal, security guard at the school, freaking janitor, anything, and maybe you had a gun, is what you're trying to tell me that slaughtering probably wouldn't have happened? Maybe one or two people would have died by the time someone jumped on them and shot back on them.
Brother, the Constitution is pretty clear. And I'm going to quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, and the right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed."
Well, hang on. No, wait a minute. A well-regulated militia. You mentioned that, and you also mentioned the right to bear arms. Now, all this time, I mean, if I could have swore when I turned on Fox News today and CNN and flipped to CNBC and all the mainstream media, not just today, but literally over the last few days, to see what these clowns have to say, I'm pretty sure that they convinced me, watching that TV, these rights were there for us to hunt. We only need a gun to hunt with, like a little shotgun or maybe, some type of hunting rifle. For some reason they keep saying that these assault rifles are not necessary. People don't hunt with those, so why do we have them? And the Second Amendment was there so we can go hunting. Now, you just read something right, basically verbatim out of the Constitution, which explained explicitly why the right to bear arms was necessary. And I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I heard you say anything about the word hunting or anything like that.
There's nothing in there about hunting. As a matter of fact, it is totally direct opposite. As a matter of fact, it's clearly stating for those who have the spirit and the ability to be able to discern, to be able to read and comprehend, that we have a right to protect ourselves. And the Constitution is all drafted pretty much against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And see, that's the problem. That's the reason why they keep trying to deflect and they keep trying to send these things around all around the other way to confuse the people who don't know the legal documents or the Constitution of the United States in America. I'm an expert. I was an expert when I was in the military, and I stayed professionally and technically proficient in firearms. There's no secret about that at all. And me myself personally, I know what the Constitution says because I took an oath when I went into the service, when I went in the military. And that Constitution told me that I'm supposed to go and protect this country from foreign enemies as well as domestic enemies. And when they're trying to deflect this and say it's giving you a right to hunt, these people are totally uninformed, because that's not what the Constitution is all about. We are to be secure in our person, number one, secure in our person. And in order to do that, that means we have a right to protect ourselves. And the modern way to protect ourselves is by the modern day gun, which people keep, I don't know why they keep wanting to go past this, but it's not about hunting. And last but not least, what people do not like hearing is that the main reason why the founding fathers of this country wanted us to be armed is because in case our government starts going crazy and starts going wild, just like it is right now, it's for us to have a well-regulated militia to secure the free state. That's what it's all about. Nothing about hunting.
Okay, so back when George Washington was around, and basically our founding fathers, they had muskets. That was the top technology of the time. That was it. The interesting thing was, so did the king that we were trying to get away from England. So the king had muskets, and his military had muskets and cannons, of course. So did ours. So, or ours as in we, the people in this country, we had muskets. We also had cannons and that kind of thing. So, right. In other words, we had the same type of equipment to protect ourselves that they had.
Right.
So, if we get rid of assault rifles, even though they're already not fully automatic, you still have to pull the trigger for each shot. We would be up against a military, and again, this is assuming there was an all-out war with the government. Not to say that him, Pastor Dowell, or myself are telling you right now we want to do this or we are for this.
Right.
But if it were to happen, we're going to be single-shotting people while they mow us down with machine guns. It's already that level because you're not allowed to have a fully automatic. You got to go get a Class 3 license, and you've got to take tests and get certified. It is unbelievable. Lots of money, of course, to do it if you're lucky. And for an average citizen to just go and get it, it's almost impossible. But for a gun store or a training facility, they can usually get them. So if they take away the assault rifle right, you're allowed to have a shotgun and then a rifle. So in other words, you're going to be allowed to bring a knife to a gun battle, so to speak, in that event. So again, the First Amendment, free speech. The Second Amendment, right after the First Amendment. The second thing of utmost importance was the right to have and bear arms. It is so clear. The right to have and bear arms. I'm pretty sure it doesn't say conceal carry.
Exactly.
And if go ahead.
Supposed to have whatever they have, the people should have in this country.
Yes.
And you got to pay attention to the words and how they word things. They call it an assault rifle. That's notice those words right there. Now, an assault rifle, by definition, is anything that is fully automatic. Fully automatic. Now, this is nothing but basically a rifle. That's all it is. Because when I was in the military, I went in, I guess I'm prehistoric because we had M16A1s and then we were issued M16A2s. It wasn't until later on that the AR-15s came in because they were a little bit more shorter, a little bit more easier to negotiate and to use. And now that a little bit more compact and stuff, and the weapon cases wouldn't have to be as big, especially when you're jumping or whatnot. But, it's amazing how they call these things assault rifles. And the majority of people that's using this language have no idea. Just because it looks like a fully automatic weapon does not mean that it's an actual fully automatic weapon. You said it right. If they got automatic weapons, we should have automatic weapons. And it shall not be infringed. It shall not be infringed. But if you notice, everything that they're doing in this country right now is totally infringing. Not only infringing, but trampling and stamping and just stepping on everything we got as far as what you would call rights.
Just like the girl we just got done talking on the phone about these two ladies. I don't know if it was her and her daughter or whatever it was. Older woman and her daughter stopped in Texas on their way to, I think she said Oklahoma. I stopped you because you flicked 2 cigarettes out the window. Okay, you know what? I actually appreciate that. They probably deserve a citation for throwing a nasty cigarette out the window.
Gotcha.
But for him to say, I smell marijuana. If you be upfront with me, I'll be good with you. She said, I don't have marijuana. This is my boyfriend's car. To the best of my knowledge, there's no drugs in here. We don't smoke it for sure. Well, okay, I'm going to call my partner because he didn't say I was going to search you. I think he just said, I'm going to call my partner. I don't remember what exact words. So she comes over, gets the mom out, puts her hand in her front, puts her hand in her back, feels around with her little gloves on. Yeah. Okay, didn't find anything there. Now it's time for the young daughter, your turn. Brings her over, sticks her hand in the back, sticks her hand in the front. Didn't find anything. Didn't find any drugs. There was no, and for him to say, I think I smell marijuana. Again, if you're a cop, all you have to say, what he's trying to do is give himself probable cause that did not exist, because they cannot do anything without probable cause. So he's giving himself, in essence, de facto, his own probable cause, so to speak, because he's going to say, well, I'm pretty sure I smelled marijuana. But in the court of law, that ain't good enough. Even having a pipe that is known to be smoking marijuana out of, or a crack pipe in the court of law, I've already looked up case law, by the way, that proves, it does not prove someone was smoking drugs or had drugs in it. You could have put cigarette, tobacco in it, smoking stuff you put in a pipe. They have to know and see for sure it's drugs, not just smell something that they think smells like it. So he was trying to build probable cause and scare them into admitting that they may have it, and it turns out they didn't. And at the end of the traffic stop, him and the other officer, hey, you guys are good to go. Have a nice night and be about your business, as if nothing just happened, as they stuck their finger, or she stuck her fingers in the crotch of those two ladies and their rear end, actually touching their junk, so to speak. And like the girl said on the way out, I've never been pulled over in my life. I've never had anything like this happen to me. And I got to be honest, she said something along the lines like, I didn't think that this kind of stuff happened in this country, and just had someone's finger in my front cooch, or whatever she said, in my back, and is a little disturbed. And I be honest, I feel the same way watching it. I'm disgusted watching it, to tell you the truth. So, like you said, this is a moral problem. We have moral problems, and a moralist society goes down the drain. And the end of the Roman Empire, as you and I both like to talk about, because they have the best historical record than any other society, so we know for sure what they said, what they did, etc. They too became a moralist society, and so too did Rome completely crash. We are absolutely positively that Roman Empire to the T. If you look at a step-by-step guide of basically a handbook, how to fail as a country, and it'd show you, well, here's what Rome did perfectly. You would say, I'm not going to do one of those things because that was devastating. And then you go and look down at every single thing they did, aside from technology differences that we have today, exactly the same thing, they did it. And here we are doing it. The pension system, they had a pension system. The whole thing, join the military and you get paid the rest of your life and you get that type of pension, same thing, they had it. Promising people everything that they could and their mother just to get elected, same thing. And it happened over and over and over again as the country was destroyed. And then, as you well know, other countries that they invaded and tried to take over just to keep their system afloat and rape and pillage their riches to keep it afloat. They found out it's still not working. They had enough and finally attacked the Roman Empire. And it fell. I mean, it wasn't overnight, but it fell pretty rapidly. And there's no such thing as a Roman Empire anymore. Therefore, history as our guide, our country is heading the same way. I live here. Anyone listening to this, he and I live here. We don't want this to happen. We aren't hoping this happens. We live in this country. We live in the modern Roman Empire. So that's why we do these videos and stuff, to tell people we got to stop this. You know, we got to try to figure out ways. And I mean, honestly, the sad thing is, as hard as we try, as many videos as we do, and there's a few thousand people. There's a few 1,000 people out of 300 million Americans that need to be listening, honestly, to learn things from us. And not to say we're like the almighty God of teachers, but we do study this stuff and we do know what we're talking about.
Right.
And then I can turn around, like I was telling him the other day, and see this video of the scary girl in the elevator, right? Y'all seen that one, I'm sure. It's been viral for the last 3 weeks. 50 million views. 50 million views on a scary prank in an elevator. This is the Roman Empire. When the Colosseum, they used to do, I think it was twice a month, once or twice a month, they would do these big Colosseum events. All of the main part of Rome would show up, and the people were, this is great. We're at the top of society, best technology of their time. Got lions and stuff fighting gladiators. I mean, it was fantastic. And they said in today's dollars, it would cost around $1 billion to pull one of those off. That's how big it was back then. And then they started slacking on those because they couldn't afford the bill. And the people started getting restless. Hey, what the hell's going on? Where's our Coliseum events, man? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And then they started slacking even more. Next thing you know, the rest is history. Your country's done.
Done for.
And here we are trying to wake up people. There's literally a few thousand people on the internet, honestly, that listen to guys like you and me and other people. In other words, history is repeating, even though we're trying to wake up the few. And again, I think both of us get a little satisfaction or a lot of satisfaction even knowing that even if it's just a few thousand people that we helped out of 300 million, by God, it was worth it.
It sure was.
Plain and simple.
Brother, the unmitigated gall of not only the police officers, and I don't have a bad stench in my heart towards police officers. But I tell you, brother, the more we continue to keep seeing these injustices perpetuated upon the society, to where now the way I understand this, they are supposed to be our public servants.
Yeah.
And they are the ones supposed to be fearing us and not us them. And I tell you, see, all this warrantless searches and stuff, this probable cause stuff, this is just another way to get around the law so they can do whatever they want. Man, you don't know what kind of background them people have. You don't know. But I tell you, brother, it is worth us getting on here and just every week, my radio broadcast proves that we're being effective. Every week. Because somebody is waking up, whether they're coming out of the church or they're coming out of the deception of the way that they used to believe concerning 9/11 or all these other catastrophes taking place in this place. It's people like us that are actually doing the job, that are waking people up. And hey, I can't help but to go. I have to keep on going.
Like we said before, we would be doing videos on YouTube anyways. I started off on Facebook and it was an epic failure. It was just so it killed me inside to think that I can't even get to anybody. They won't even waste their time looking at the thing I'm providing them. So they don't even have to do the homework. Just here it is on a silver platter. Oh, Joe posted something. I'm not even going to go look at it. Just going to go skip him and look at the rest of the crap. Look at the funny elevator movies. I don't have time for Joe's nonsense, But as I realized, sometimes you couldn't upload a large video to Facebook. You could at YouTube. And so I would just use YouTube as the median for me to upload the longer videos, several minutes longer than normal, and then post that link on Facebook. And then I realized, oh, my God, I'm getting hundreds of views on YouTube, almost nothing on Facebook. So I was like, you know what, Facebook? And I told him one of my last words, I'm tired of trying to wake people up. No one cares what I have to say. Your country's going down the tube. Nobody wants to hear it. I'm out of here. So I closed down the entire account, went straight to YouTube, and having no subscribers, not expecting subscribers. Next thing you know, like today, I've got around 6,000 something subscribers. I think you're over that, probably 10, 11, 12,000. I'm not sure where you're at, but you definitely, people are coming left and right. Not a whole lot every day. I know, as we showed the stats to each other, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20, sometimes whatever it is, every single day. So again, I felt good because I pulled one person away from Facebook of my friends who was very glad he woke up and bought silver, of course, some of the other stuff we talk about, and is paying attention to what's going on, making his own preparations, that kind of thing. So that was worth it. To deal with the other 50 people, and the 51st was him coming over, it was worth all that mess. So it's sad that we get to sit here and watch history repeat. It's sad that all these things happen. It's sad that you can tell somebody, look what Hitler did. Look what Mussolini did. Look what Joseph Stalin did. Look what communist China did. You can give example after example after example of what happens when they take guns. Under whatever reason, what happens after that. And no, it's not the next day, but shortly after that in history, absolutely, you become you have a dictatorship in your country. And as many people have gotten slaughtered trying to stand up to that, you try standing up to someone that's got a gun and you don't have anything. See how well that works out. And then the average person says, well, not in this country. These people took an oath to swear against, to defend and protect the Constitution, just like you said, against enemies both foreign and domestic.
Right.
So there's even another hint right in the Constitution, foreign and domestic. Hey, what do you mean domestic? What does that mean? That means someone in the inside.
Yeah, that
seems
means
like our founding fathers knew that.
A threat sitting right in your backyard. That's what that means.
Yeah. So
I got a question.
Yeah.
The market, is volatile.
Yes.
It's been going up and down and up and down, up and down. And of course, I just got finished getting informed on one of your videos again and showing exactly what the Feds are doing. Now, I guess I could say I was shocked, but I really truly wasn't shocked.
Yeah. But
to hear that we actually, the Federal Reserve is the one who we owe the most money to, and then comes China, and then comes Japan. It's utterly appalling and amazing. But what really got me was when you had made a statement that the mint is not selling no more silver.
Yes.
That it just stopped it, period. And according to the law, as long as there's a market for it, they're supposed to be continually keep making these coins and getting it out to the people.
Yes.
But no, they don't want to do that. They want to wait till the new year comes and I believe you're spot on. It's because they ain't got none. They ain't got none of this. They're going to wait till the 7th of January before they decide to start putting out the new coins now.
Yep.
That's a pure sign, brother, that they ain't got what they said that they have.
Right. And the average person says, man, well, silver's been dropped a few dollars over the last, 3 weeks or so. Man, it was 34, 33, 32. We're down to 29 and some change. Oh, my God. What's going on? As long as they have the ability to print pieces of paper that says this paper represents 5,000 ounces of silver, and 5,000 ounces of silver was never taken out of the ground. It was never even stored anywhere. It just claims that it is. And you have the ability to have 30, 40, 50% of those paper contracts, as a company such as JP Morgan does. You can afford to just sell until the price gets smashed to a level that you want. And then when that happens, you have your other banker pals buy up all that you just sold. So yeah, you take a loss as JP Morgan. Yeah. They buy it and sit on it, and then the price goes up $3 or $4. They sell off and actually make a profit. And then when they sell off, JP Morgan's buying it. And then when the same thing happens with them, they flip sides. JP Morgan will make a little profit. So in other words, they know each other are going to take a loss and profit. They're just taking turns. And let's just say it's Citigroup and JP Morgan, for example. JP Morgan's got all these contracts. Hey, Citigroup, we're going to sell off. Automatically, they're going to buy. Now they're sitting on these pile of silver contracts. Market starts to rise. Okay, it's our turn to drop the market. They do the same thing. JP Morgan buys them again. So then Citigroup takes the loss. JP Morgan makes a little bit of a gain. Vice versa. All they're doing is handing the same pieces of paper back and forth. And as other market participants get in there, causing the prices to rise, that's when they unleash their little fury of sell-offs, causing a stampede on the market to sell, because if nobody sells when that stampede happens, they are going to get margin calls from their broker because the price dropped so much that their account was cleaned out. And even though they had stop orders put in that said under this price level, if silver drops to this level, I don't even have to do anything. My computer system's already set up. It will drop. It'll sell off my contract and I'll make a little loss or whatever. I'll have a little loss, but I have my stops in place. And what happens is they nail it past that before any buyers come on the market. So your stop is met and exceeded and there were no buyers, therefore you get a margin call. It cleans your contract out. It is an automatic liquidation by your broker to sell your contract without your approval or knowledge. It does not matter. So mission accomplished by the bankers. And then the same thing happens, and then the prices rise again, and they have to do it again. Again, 2 years ago, JP Morgan had about $8 billion invested in these paper contracts on the silver market, obviously short positions. Today, 2 years later, they've had to double it to around 16, 17 trillion. And now Citigroup, which had like 50 million, not billion, 50 million, a tiny amount of paper contracts at the very beginning of this year, January, literally, when the last report came out, which was, I think, for the second quarter or something, it may not even been the third quarter, they showed that an increase of billions of dollars. So 50 million turned into a few billion or something like that. So now Citigroup's involved. In other words, it's getting too big for JP Morgan to handle by itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So
trouble.
As long as you and I have our physical silver, which we do and other people do, you can sit back and laugh and even smile and say, all these paper contracts just got smashed. You idiots for playing that game. You should know better by now that these bankers are raping and pillaging you because they have to control the price of precious metals, because precious metals are a direct competing currency to the entire, not just the U.S. dollar, but the entire global financial system, because they all use paper dollars that are backed by nothing. And
you know what's amazing? If precious metals wasn't so, if they didn't have any value and it was just tradition, like Ben Shalom Bernanke says, then why are central banks amassing extraordinary amounts of it? Why is China buying it up so much right now? And I mean, all over. Everybody else is opting out of the dollar. They're going back to gold, back to silver, if it's just nothing but tradition. Here in this country, the people need to understand that it pays for them to constantly disseminate bad information to them and to keep the people down. Because remember, when they started this thing, it was a good idea for the people to turn in their tangible assets for some fiat currency trash, because they knew they wasn't going to go back and redeem it for this. Now, where we at today, I just got finished looking at it as you were talking. We're at $30. So what's going on today, bro, Joe?
Well, first of all, that was a Silver Eagle you had, correct?
This is a Panda.
Do you have a Silver Eagle sitting on your desk?
No, sir. I don't have an Eagle. I got a Canadian maple leaf.
All right. I don't have one sitting on my desk at the moment either. On the Silver Eagle, it states, the U.S. Mint created it. It states $1. 1 ounce Silver Eagle, $1. You are not allowed to put the word dollar on any coin, as anyone found out who was following the Liberty Dollar things.
This one says $1.
That's the same. Now that's Canadian. Yes, you're right. But for those listening, that's not a Silver Eagle. Just to clarify this, but ours also says $1.
$1.
What's that? You mind tell me what that's worth today?
Yeah. The ask is $29.96. The bid is $30.06.
And that add additional $2.50 for a Silver Eagle, because that's what they go for.
Exactly.
So you're telling me something that has $1 face value is worth actually roughly $32.
Yes,
wow,
sir.
That's incredible. So we look at these little slaughters that they do. Again, they push the markets down. And just like Jim Sinclair has been saying, this is nothing more than another temporary move, like they all are. Every move down has always been temporary. And the word temporary doesn't mean it's going to be a week or a month. It could be a week. It could be a month. It could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. It does not matter. What does matter is it is absolutely positively temporary. I just read, of all countries, Iraq has quadrupled their gold holdings like urgently recently.
Really?
Quadrupled. Little old Iraq. That's going to make somebody pissed off, because we were just over there putting our own little Western regime together over there.
War-torn Iraq?
Yeah. Quadrupled their gold holdings. And over in India, they're trying to charge the people like a surtax on gold and silver transactions. And they are trying, desperately to even propaganda on the TV, everything, to tell people stop messing with physical. And if you're going to get precious metals, then do so on paper. Get the ETFs and this kind of thing.
Oh,
it is futile. And those people who have the patience and the stomach to weather these little price drops like this, when it's 34 and then they drop it to 29 and it makes you a little bit sick in your stomach, you will be rewarded so handsomely when you see how this ends. And again, as history as my guide, that is never wrong, there's no way gold and silver will be smashed and stay smashed. Years ago, not that many years ago, gold was $250 to $300 an ounce.
Right.
It's $1,600 to $1,700 now.
Right.
Silver was $4 and $5 an ounce back in 2004.
That's right.
And into 2005. That was not long ago. And it still said on that coin, same U.S. Silver Eagle, $1. So it has gone up fivefold. If it was $5 times 5 is 25, or 5 times 4 would be 20. Right? We're at $30. So it's actually sixfold. You know, at $5.
Yeah.
So 6
Yeah.
times 5 is 30. It's gone up 600% in just a few years. And even back then, sure, there were little spikes, and there were moves back when it was $6 and $7 and $8 that back then was like, oh, it's down 50 cents. But when it was down 50 cents at like $7 an ounce, that was a massive move down. When it's down 50 cents today, it's a trickle. It's almost meaningless. Even 70 cents, even $1, because it's $30 an ounce. So people get caught up thinking, oh, you know, these silver bugs, you got the silver bugs, you're going to get slaughtered. And and I can just look at the chart for the last 10 years and tell me how we're going to get slaughtered. Again, if 1%, as I've said before, if 1% of the population of the world, basically less than 1%, is actually buying physical gold and silver, precious metals, how is that a bull? How is that a bubble that we keep hearing about? How can you have a bubble with a percent of people involved in it?
Exactly.
Not possible. The bubble hasn't even begun. But I will say this. There will be a bubble. It will be an artificial bubble when everybody else figures out it's the thing to get into. So on that note, my brother Dowell, I'm going to call it quits because I got to get ready to go. And I know you got to eat soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this video, and take care.